tropical outlook and discussion. In this one, we're going to be taking a look at tropical storm Debby. Now has entered off the coast, and it's really now how quickly can this organize. Right now, my maximum wind speed out of this is about 50 to 60 miles an hour. I do not expect it to strengthen too much because it really was on the land for a very long time. And if it does get to a 50-mile-an-hour storm or 60, it'll probably be more looking like a storm that's heading for the main area, like a subtropical storm. But we're not just going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Debby going to the northeast and a major severe weather outbreak and flooding outbreak, a pre-event before Debby. So the northeast is getting a two-pack punch here. The severe weather with potentially 3 to 6 inches of rain out of that alone, and then potentially another 3 to 6 inches of rain with this storm. So if we're looking here, we could tell where it is. We do have, I was actually kind of surprised, they actually put in enhanced risk across Pennsylvania. The main threat for this enhanced risk that was posted is for damaging winds. Tornado is still there, 5% to even 2%. Anywhere in that enhanced risk, I would say, is under that tornado risk. But the main threat is the wind. They do have a 30% wind risk here for pretty much central, eastern, and western Pennsylvania in that 30%. So if you guys are in that, that's including me. I'm even in this enhanced risk. So I'm going to be taking some videos if we do get some nasty storms and some flooding rains. I am all prepared with that with my rain gauge and stuff, so we're going to be watching that. Then we have a hail risk. That's about 5%. Not too much of a hail risk. Quickly, before we really get into things, let's go look at storm reports, because I forgot to bring that up here. Let this load. And there it is. There's some storm reports. Definitely back in western Pennsylvania. All of them actually pretty much was in western Pennsylvania. So far, 13 wind reports. There actually was a few hail reports. I see. So along Queenstown Road, there was a 1.75, so almost a 2-inch hail, and then the rest were 1 inch. Spiky hail report. Alright. Birmingham. Then we do have some wind reports. Main of this is trees down on rows. Some with multiple trees down. Even a tree on a house right there. So it seems like at least 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour winds there. But that's pretty remarkable that we're going to be dealing with a huge flood risk. And that's another thing I forgot to bring up. Is the WPC flooding excessive rainfall outlook. Sorry, you guys, I'm doing this kind of on the fly, but it was last minute thoughts, just thinking about it all. Good news, it's moving pretty fast, so it's not too much of a wait. But there's the day one, and yes, you guys see that. We do have a high risk for flooding across South Carolina, parts of Georgia, North Carolina, even Virginia. But then you can see actually another moderate, and I'm actually in this moderate risk here for flooding. That's at least 40% of, that's level 4 out of 5. So pretty significant. They do have it pretty much Allentown, Reading, Philadelphia, Harrisburg, Trenton, Odessa, New Jersey, New York City, the Bronx, the Yonkers, Toms River. You guys are all in that. And Mount Pocono, you guys are all in that moderate risk. Then you go into the yellow. That's for Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Dover, Atlantic City, Allentown, PA, State College, Northern Pennsylvania, Scranton, Waterbury, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, parts of New York, northern and along the coastal. And then you guys go in the green. That's at least a 5%. That's pretty much everywhere around this slight and moderate risk. So let's take it a little bit. So let's take this a bit more here Now let's take a look at the satellite imagery. We're going to start with the storm, the update on it, and where it is spinning at. And it looks like it is pretty much along the coast, pretty much entering the waters of the Atlantic. And yes, there is still a noticeable spin, but you could tell it's more looking like a subtropical cyclone at this point. Lost a lot of its features in this tropical storm. Still a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm, but it's more a dried out, hollow storm. We're going to be taking a look at that. There's some convection trying to blow up on the outer bands features. That's probably because of Dural maximum is starting to begin. And we're going to have to see if this low can get offshore and see how this all plays out. This is going to be around the waters for about a day or so. So we do have about 24 hours for this to get organized. That's why I think a 50-mile-an-hour storm at best. But there it is, just a hollow storm. There is some convection trying to blow up here on the eastern side. Even the southern side, western side with some deeper convection. Even northern side. But where this low is, right along the coast here, it's no convection anywhere close to it. There's some light convection, some light rain to moderate. But it just looks like more of a nor'easter that you'll see up in the northeast, or a subtropical cyclone. Speaking on that, it's still going to bring very heavy rain and major impacts, regardless of development now any further. So let's take a look at the 18Z. They have a 999, a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm. They're keeping it as Tropical Storm Debby, a borderline tropical storm, but the forecast for this is pretty much to come out for about a day over the waters, but not into the Gulf Stream as we were expecting, and kind of come into South Carolina and go up in the northeast. So the rest of the storm's life is going to be mainly a rain impact, maybe keeping around a 40 to a 50-mile-an-hour tropical storm. I do not expect any type of significant strengthening in this. So now speaking on Debby, let's take a look at some of the models. So we take a look at, so Euro is coming out. So we're going to take a look at the European model. This is the new run. I just want to see what it is showing here. So let this just load a bit. It's going to take a little bit of time. I keep opening on new tabs. That's why it's taking a bit longer, and I'm rushing it to work a bit faster. But we actually could take a look at the rainfall. We might just rather take a look at the rainfall here. Or, let's just go precip because it's not the right one. So we're just going to go to precip. If this wants to load. Okay, it is. Right there. So let's take a look. Today, throughout today, there is going to be thunderstorms and some pretty heavy rain across Pennsylvania where the flooding is. This will continue to move through. After along, this will still bring some showers and thunderstorms in the overnight and some pretty heavy rain. Same thing tomorrow according to the Euro. And then there's Tropical Storm Debby. Goes into about central Pennsylvania with some very heavy rain, maybe a severe weather risk, some gustier winds, and then this will move on. And then after that, we will get a break in the northeast from any rain. But if we take a look at the total rainfall for the Euro, alright, this is the fresh Euro, and we're going to still have to see what happens. Is pretty actually intense. It is pretty intense. So widespread areas up to about, I would say, 3 to 6 inches. You can tell even some spots like over here, 7, 8 inches according to the Euro. And some of these thunderstorms, this is going to end up being an 8 to 10 inches. Over here is even up to 10, almost even a foot of rain. So if you guys are in any of this forecast, do prepare for some flooding and some heavy rain. So that's the latest update on the Euro model. Let's take a look at the GFS. So the GFS model, once again, does this loop all the way back into Georgia. We know. I don't think it will. But we're just going to have to see. Okay? So we could probably take that out. Let's take a look at the NAM model here. And let's go into the Northeast. So we take a look at the Northeast with Debby. As it's continued throughout today, I will say, we do have already thunderstorms developing. In the afternoon hours, we already got thunderstorms developing on radar. This is pretty significant. We do have some special weather statements and some severe thunderstorm warnings. But we do notice we got some training thunderstorms developing and even near my area. So we should start getting our heavier rain to begin. But remember, this is going to be a big rain event. There's already some flood warnings across western Pennsylvania for pretty much 1 to 3 inches that already has fallen. So some of these storms are bringing some of that. But you can tell storms will be strong. Storms will bring heavy rain. Then that main front comes into about 10 o'clock tonight. So this is going to be a long duration event with just rounds of thunderstorms throughout the rest of the day. And then after that, we do see some lighter rain. And then we do it again tomorrow, just a little bit less, some showers and rain. And then there is Debby coming, not fully ready to come up, but you could tell some still rain showers and that. So for the rest of the week, you can expect every day with some rain and some pretty significant flooding. Alright, now let's take a look at another model. This is the Icon. This is a pretty valuable model, I would say, but it does have this going into central Pennsylvania with some very heavy rain. We go all the way through and look at total accumulations, and there it is. You can tell 3 to anywhere 6 inches of rain. Now we're just going to look at the rainfall, and a lot of these models just pretty much get a consensus. There's the Canadian model, 6, even the 10 inches, even 12 inches. Canadian has maybe a foot out of the saw. So pretty significant flooding is looking very likely. Alright, we take a look at another model. This ain't even fully out, but there it is, up to anywhere 6 to 12 inches. So you could tell this is going to be a pretty big flooding event if you guys are in the path of this. And we're going to have to see how this Debby situation spills over as it goes up. Will it be closer to the coast or will it be more inland? And how much rain do we get out of these storms today? Those are all questions, and they will be answered in the coming hours as we continue to see this unfold. So if we take a look at the rainfall total for Debby, there it is, you guys. Out of this is rainfall through the today into the next 5 days, and wow, you see it here. We got with the National Hurricane Center putting let me make this marker just a bit bigger. You could tell if you guys are in the yellow, that's pretty much all of eastern Pennsylvania, central New York, New Jersey, all of Connecticut, almost all of Massachusetts, including Albany, Boston, Hartford. You guys are expecting 4 to 6 inches. But where I'm at, I'm expecting 6 to 8 inches, you guys. That's a lot of rain, especially for the Northeast, 6 to 8 inches. And if we get any of these severe thunderstorms with the saturated ground, we could even see uprooting trees. So this is a pretty big flooding event out of Debby and a boundary front and a cold front. Alright, so that will pretty much wrap this one up. If we take a look at the flash flooding risk, That is throughout Debby. In that area is the bullseye for the flooding. At least a moderate risk. I don't think they're going to go high, but we're going to have to keep track of that. Right before we go, just forgot to mention this. Let's look at the National Weather Service. We do have severe thunderstorm watches, and we do have severe thunderstorm warnings. Some of those warnings currently is in Indiana, Pennsylvania. We see one in Butler's, Pennsylvania. A few in Ohio. One heading for Clarin, Pennsylvania. One north of Allentown. These are all with 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. And then in the flood warnings, you guys have seen probably about 1 to 3 inches with another few inches left to go. So that's why this is such a big flooding threat. We take a look at the radar quickly of this event. And there it is. You can tell these nasty storms back in Pittsburgh with severe thunderstorm warnings, slow moving, even training thunderstorms. So now let's go into eastern Pennsylvania quickly with the radar. Let's go to here. And right now, no current severe thunderstorm warnings, just a severe thunderstorm watch. 1 year State College State College should be under a severe thunderstorm warning any moment. We take a look at the radar, and there it is, you guys. We do have some nasty storms blowing up already. Near Allentown, the